Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
पर्दे पीछे करो।
I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar. To start the webinar, I would request Brother Mustahsan Raza to recite Quran Pak.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you very much, Brother Mustahsan. Jazakallah. Welcome to everyone. This webinar is a part of series of webinars organized by Arbaeen Global Networking. Arbaeen Global Networking is an initiative to unite people from all the faiths under the banner of Imam Hussain alayhi salam As a part of this initiative, we hold one annual event in the Haram of Imam Hussain alayhi salam every year on 21st of Safar in Karbala. There's an online platform where we invite organizations and individuals to connect with each other. And as a part of the same initiative, we conduct monthly webinars where we invite experts, professionals from various fields so that we can benefit from their knowledge and experience. Today, we are honored to have Professor Dr. Ali Sajid with us. Dr. Ali Sajid he doesn't need any introduction. MashaAllah, he is awarded with Tamgha-e-Imtiaz. He is CEO and Director of LMDA training in Lahore. He is official trainer at Asian Productivity Organization in Japan and National Productivity Organization in Pakistan. He is also a director at Lahore School of Management and founding director, Institute of Business and Management, UET Lahore, as well as founding chair at NUST Business School, Islamabad. He is chairman at Quality and Productivity Society of Pakistan, and of course, a member of Pakistan Engineering Council. The topic today we have is the dynamics of winning attitude in a professional environment. Without any further delay, I would request Dr. Ali Sajid to enlighten us with what is meant by the dynamics of winning attitude in a professional environment.
Thank you very much. It's my honor. It's my pleasure to share some thoughts on attitude. I've been working, though I'm an engineer, but I've been working on the attitude issue since last couple of decades. ABC of attitude, but whatever I have studied and learned, I will be sharing today. But I always start my discussion with this famous quote of Confucius: "Don't curse the darkness, light a candle." In Urdu, "Andheron ko matun na theraye, roshni phelaye." And it was translated by famous Urdu shair Ahmad Faraz, "Shikwa zulmat shab se to kahin behtar tha, apne hisse ki ko shama jalate jate."
Wonderful.
This minor contribution to this great institution is part of my professional obligation to convey whatever we have learned so far. And core issue for any Pakistani or any global professional is to handle attitude, and that is how to develop and manage the winning attitude. That is the core issue. Before I formally start, allow me to ask: is this bilingual or English only?
It's mainly English, but depending upon audience, we can have questions in Urdu as well. But let's start with English.
So please allow me to change the slide. It may be frozen. So basically, allow me to submit one of value chain I have developed over a period of last 15 years. Whatever we think in our mind is like a machine working in the cinema house, the film, the classical cinema house of Pakistan or maybe global, that you think is a thinking pattern is like a cinema machine, and that thinking process conveys some message to the screen, and that is your thoughts. Your thoughts builds your attitude, and that is lying somewhere here in the heart. And from the attitude, you cannot see my attitude. It is only visible 90%. Rather, it is visible only 10%, but invisible to 90%. But you can see my behavior. That is tarz-e-amal or saluk in Urdu. So that behavior is manifested. Attitude is manifested by behavior, and my thinking is being impacted by my surroundings in which I was raised, in which I'm studying, in which I'm working, and especially my parents. This is one of the value chain I always mention in my discussions. Now keep this value chain in mind. So primarily attitude is nothing but a state of mind which shows my, which is, as I mentioned earlier, manifested and reflected through my behavior. Behavior, as I mentioned earlier, shape, deshape, or reshape my personality. So I always start my discussion on these topics with a couple of motivational statements. And one of them is when people do or does good thing, God looks down and smiles and says, for this moment alone, it was worth creating world. This is my favorite quote, and I always quote. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. And the biggest discovery of our generation is that if you invest some time on changing your attitude, you can change your destiny, you can change your future, you can change your career, and you can change your progress pattern. A couple of more motivational slides. Half the harm that is done in this world is due to the people who want to feel important. Feel important factor is again a detrimental factor which spoils and damages our reputation and breaks the very social fabric of the organization. Someone asked Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, who is Sharif? He said, who does the justice with the weak person or marginalized person. This is the translation of this Urdu statement. This famous statement of Stephen Covey, be a light, not a judge. Be a model, not a critic. And another famous statement of father of all teachers in the world, the first known Muallim, that is the first teacher in the universe, is Socrates. He says, I cannot teach anyone. I simply force to think them, of course, logically. So this is the definition of attitude. It's a mental position which is relative to ways of thinking. And source of attitude is thinking pattern, your thought process, which changes the attitude and which is manifested through your behavior. This is famous example of iceberg. 90% of attitude is invisible to any professional or any person in the world. And there are 6 contributory factors which impact the negative attitude positively or negatively. First of all is your value system. Second is your standard of thinking pattern or your standard of decision making or whatever you call it. Your standards, your mayar. And third is judgments. Your weakness or your strength in making judgment, that also contribute the attitude. And the fourth one is motive. The compelling force, the propelling force of any action which causes action to play or display. And the fifth one, ethic, is the core of any attitude. The professional norms, integrity, honesty, fairness, all this is covered by ethics. And the last one, which is the contributor or main construct of attitude, is belief. Your understanding of your internal hidden strength, that is belief. And all those 6 factors contribute to attitude, and attitude impacts your behavior, your personality. So attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. जितनी छोटी चीज है उतने ज्यादा फर्क है. And इंसान को लफ्ज नहीं रवैया मारते हैं. It is not the words which kills the human being, but human attitude which kills the other person. So attitude changes anything, everything in the universe. बाज लोग रवैये पढ़ लेते हैं, बाज लोग अल्फाज पढ़ने से भी कासिर होते हैं. So 80% of success is related to attitude rather than competency. There was a historical study carried out in USA way back 50 years ago, in which they took the data of around 3,000 people and observed what is the main contributory factor to their success. And again, their 80% contribution to their success is mainly due to attitude, not by inheritance, money, the person who they married, the degree they got from the university, and so forth. The remaining all those things are 20%, and 80% is their attitude, which is key contributing factor towards the success of an individual. Later on, after 30 or 40 years, the same university collected the data of 3,000 or 4,000 more successful people and found the element of attitude has been increased from 80 to 91%. So at the moment, our study in social sciences reflects clearly that the key success factor in your personality is your attitude. Possible attitude, professional attitude, caring, loving, versus winning attitude, versus negative attitude or unprofessional attitude. I will try to highlight the key contributory factors towards winning attitude. So your attitude determines your altitude. आपकी तरक्की और रिफत और प्रमोशन का दारो मदार आपके रवैये पे है. Your prosperity, your progress, your promotion is dependent on your attitude. This is the known fact. And this is the famous statement of Henry Ford. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you're right again. It is all matter of attitude. So I have devised around a model which has around 9 or 10 P's starting from alphabet P, which leads to winning attitude, and 1 C. First is positivity in your attitude. That's the first part or first dimension of winning attitude. Second is punctuality or punctual. Third is proactiveness. Fourth is pro people. He or she must be able to understand the miseries of person under his command or under his control, and he or she is able to read their feelings and sensations and emotions from their eyes. Pro people policy or pro people attitude is nothing but respect for poor people and concern for less fortunate. Then fourth is passionate. Passionate person is passionate to do anything which is apparently impossible. Then patient and perseverance is another contributory factor for winning attitude. And the next is progressive. It is more result oriented, step by step, leading towards success. And then peaceful, believing on right of peaceful coexistence. And then politeness is another dynamic key component of winning attitude. And then polished, groomed, and seasoned, and mature. This is the last component of winning attitude. And then can-do attitude with zero ego. I will explain it in the subsequent discussion. So power of positive attitude is the first thing. What is positive attitude? It is nothing but your thoughts. It's your subconscious, which make it in your subconscious gradually at certain part of your life come to the cautious and is visible, brings you. Let us see quickly what are the benefit of positive attitude. In your speeches, it is reflected. It is then right of efforts are also visible from your actions and displayed from your things you normally do in everyday life. So positive attitude is nothing but philosophy of life with enthusiasm, and it is key to success. It is frame of mind where a person feels the positivity all around him or her and brings along a confident approach to life and sets positive energy. It provides you a higher self-esteem level. Let us quickly review what positive attitude manifests in your life. Positive thinking is, to me, is nothing but husn zan. And I recall one of the famous incident or a story of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. He, when once other than me is more poised and acceptable to you in terms of neki and amle saleh, Allah Ta'ala said, yes, there's a lady in your kabila. So he went to meet that lady and asked him, what is special in you? He said, nothing. I'm raising my kids and doing everyday chores with zeal and commitment. I don't know why Allah Ta'ala has chosen me and giving me parity with you. That lady replied. So he asked, then anything special? She said, only one thing I can recall, that I have having husn zan, I think good about everything. To me, that is positive thinking. And nature is so for his positive thinking that she was placed close to one very noble prophet. That is one way to see the benefit of positive thinking, which leads to positive attitude, which leads to positive behavior, which leads to positive image of your personality or persona. Second is self-motivation to accomplish your goals. This is also a logical byproduct of positive attitude. It happened with me when I was studying in UET Lahore. Uh, give me negative comment in computer class and said, you can go to the World Bank, give me some loan, give some loan to UET for buying a new IBM 1170, which was at that comment motivated me to go to the World Bank. And after 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, I was sitting in the World Bank and working and giving the presentations. So what I wanted to say, positive attitude through motivational aspect in life gives you a requisite energy and strength to do something which is apparently impossible and to set your goals. So praising someone in his absence is also one way to manifest positive attitude. Then expectation of success. Thinking positive and doing positive and unlearning negative things will help you to have greater expectation of success and making yourself to be successful. It gives you more self-confidence and self-assurance and positive self-talk. Positive self-talk is one way to give you extra energy to your mind and thinking process. Remember, negative self-talk is one of your best enemy. It drains energy from your body, from your thoughts, it increases stresses, and it renders you incapable to perform your everyday life. So positive self-talk should be part of my life, which is of course logical outcome of positive attitude. So positive attitude may not help you to solve that problem, every problem, and allow you to stay away from the problem, but it gives other people requisite or sufficient envy that this person is going up, and that is because of attitude. This is one of the famous quote of one of my friends, Atif Mirza. He says that you should listen your self-talk and always remember that in your self-talk you always have positive thinking, hope, confidence, and words which starts from success, victory, and these objectives. This is the famous statement of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, किसी इंसान की खूबी पहचानो और उसे बयान करो, लेकिन अगर किसी की खामी मिल जाए तो this is your खूबी का इम्तिहान है. If you find the faults in, if you find the goodness in someone, you should explain to other people. But if you find some faults in him or herself, so then this is the test of your own positivity. This is the statement of Hazrat Ali. So how to develop a positive attitude which will lead you success? This is the question which we need to address. You should first of all understand the impact of negative thinking and worries. I recall one of the famous incident of one of my admission officers in UET Lahore. He was found guilty of certain unethical things, criminal negligence, technical, what you call, faults. So he was struck off from the duty and he tendered the resignation. His age was at that time 32 years. After a couple of years, I got a message from his brother that he is dead now early in the morning, and they found one message in his WhatsApp or what you call your mobile cell, that, and he addressed this to 3 people who took him to the negative zone from the positive zone and act negatively against the interest of the organization. And that person got the heart attack because of extra stress caused due to the constant negative thinking and constant negative self-talk. and he could not survive because of that heart attack. So negative thinking and negative attitude is very, very dangerous to our health. And if we yield to it, it is difficult for us to rise in professional life, but to talk about the survival. So for positive attitude, you choose to be happy, look at the brighter side of the life, and see the glass always half full, and choose to be and stay optimistic. Find reason and to smile more and more very oftenly, and have faith in yourself and in the power of the person and the great creator of the universe. Now, next question is how to develop a positive attitude. That is a winning attitude. Your thoughts have great impact on your personality. They add brightness to your attitude. You need healthy thoughts. हजरत अली का कॉल भी है कि आप हमेशा अपने ख्यालात पकीज़ा रखें, बेशक तन्हाई में क्यों ना हो. You should have पकीज़ा and very pure form of thinkings, either irrespective of the fact that you stayed independently in isolation or with the people, especially in the isolation. So you should carry out some exercise daily and focusing on mental and spiritual health and feeding healthy and happy thoughts to your mind. आप अगर दिल में, if you give happy and healthy thoughts to your mind, you always grow the flowers, not the weeds. So how you should, now the way to develop positive attitude, play with the kids. You should spend some time with the friends, learning to smile and watching some funny drama, movies, and read some humorous books. Implementing your positive attitude is how to put positivity into practice, monitoring and motivating those around you anywhere. Whosoever is close to him, you should always utter positive words, hope, positivity, then not a difficulty but opportunity, not a failure but success, not roadblocks but opportunities. These should be your words. So whenever you motivate someone, your own positive state of mind enhances to a greatfold, and you should raise whenever you fall. And so understand the power of positivity. It gives new outlook to life, enabling person to gain power over his thoughts, emotions, and outcome of his or her life with sense of positivity. So yes, I can, and yes, I will fly. Yes, I shall fly. These kind of repetition of words and sentences will enhances your state of mind and give you extra energy, extra strength. Remember, energy normally do not come from the physical components or tonics. Energy comes from the thoughts. So remain positive in your thought process and gain the energy. I gain energy from my thoughts. Despite over 60 and diabetic, I still manage to gain energy from my thoughts. So I will not win. This is your sentence immediately, but definitely. This is the normal way of your thinking process, and you should give periodic or very frequent dose to your mind through these kind of words. So quickly review the positive attitude and negative attitude. People with negative attitude rarely smiles, unwilling to change, very critical to others, think only of self. They don't, वो अपनी जात की खानका से बाहर नहीं निकलते, does not look other people good or look after them, forces on opinion to others, and has very few interest. So message, what is the final message? Think positive and behave positive. Yes, this is the message so far we have in our life. Now quickly review second part of our discussion today, the categories of winning attitude. First is peaceful, right, and team building attitude. And this is the statement of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. In every part of life, you should learn how to manage positive relationship with the people and how to behave and give them negotiate, because only that person who goes is that person who is alive, and who is dead, he is not stiff and cannot make himself flexible. So flexibility is a part of positivity. And when I is replaced with we, even illness become wellness. And I plus I is equal to we, and we is मैं plus मैं is equal to हम, and wherever you find मैं or me or I, that is manifestation of ego. And Bulle Shah in one of his famous Punjabi statements says we should kill our मैं, that's ego. पहले अपनी मैं मुका, which is one of the famous verses of Bulle Shah. Third part of winning attitude is inspirational attitude. You inspire the people close by. Talk positive and use positive words which gives energy, because whenever you utter the positive words, a ray of hope engulfs the person standing in front of you, thereby raising his energy level. So words energy, use them in your favor. Words energy, use them in your favor, and always talk positive and use encouraging words. Fourth is can-do attitude. Can-do attitude means I am willing to do because I'm positive person with a positive attitude. There is always a way. You see this example? I turned my cannot into cans and my dreams into plans. So can-do attitude, let us quickly review. You can do everything, but not all at once. You can do everything if it is important enough for you to do. You can do everything, but you may not be the best at everything. You can do everything, but there will be limitation, and you can do everything, but you will need help. So with collective wisdom, in a team fashion, you can do anything, and there is nothing impossible for a willing heart. So can do approach ke saath, you can do anything, everything. तूफान कर रहा था मेरे अज़्म का तवाफ, दुनिया समझ रही थी किश्ती भंवर में है. This is self-explanatory verse. Fifth part of winning attitude is selfless attitude. Selfless attitude is you work with for the khushnudi khuda, razai ilahi, for the betterment of greater part of society. One of the famous DC of Lahore, Masood Khadr Posh, in early 60s or mid 60s, is famous for helping the people, care, love, and he treats the people with care, love, and respect. He's no more. He died maybe 40, 50 years ago, but people still recall him, the people of Lahore. He was DC, but he was a symbol of care, love, and respect, especially for the less fortunate and marginalized people. And people of Lahore still remember only one deputy commissioner, that is Masood Khadr Posh, because of his caring attitude, selfless attitude. Setting his second example is Dr. Nazir, a principal of Government College Lahore in mid-60s. He is so caring and so loving to his students that he opened his house for the students who could not get the rooms in the university or college hostels, and he gave 3/4 of his house to the students so they can live and stay and study. This is two good example of selfless attitude for me in Pakistan, in the government agencies and the bureaucratic circles and academic circles. There may be more, but because of shortage of time, I'm confining to do only two. Act without expectation. This is the famous statement of one of Chinese philosophers. और उर्दू में इकबाल कहते हैं, लामा इकबाल, जिसका अमल है बेगरज उसकी जजा कुछ और है, जिसका अमल है बेगरज उसकी जजा कुछ और है. Sixth is responsible attitude, एहसास जिम्मेदारी वाला attitude. There's a famous statement of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam on this, एहसास जिम्मेदारी. Someone asked Hazrat Ali alayhi salam how you can gauge the value of human being, what should be the standard. Hazrat Ali replied in a very simplified manner, in a very brief words, that is sense of responsibility. So don't gauge the graduate while hiring from his GPA or CGPA or grade or his personality or size of or height of his body, rather sense of responsibility. This is the responsible attitude. This is the best quote I have ever seen from Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. It means that anybody has good sense of responsibility, he's more precious to anyone. The only thing happens to you, and 90% how you respond. So your reaction matters. And with composed attitude, with decent attitude, with positive attitude, you can display a very professional manifestation to your personality. Six is patient and tolerant attitude. Tolerance is not cowardice. It is part of sin. It is a main rule for the life. And any heart which does not have the tolerance or have the tolerance, he cannot be beaten by anyone. A man who is a master of patience is master of everything else. Perseverance is the enemy of doubt. And seventh is forgiving attitude. Maaf kar dene wala ravaiya. This is the famous quote of Quran Pak, Surah Al Imran. जो लोग गुस्से को पी जाते हैं, दूसरों के कसूर माफ कर देते हैं, ऐसे नेक लोग अल्लाह को बहुत ही पसंद है. And Tony Robbins, in his famous statement, he says that they give a blanket pardon to anyone who has hurt you personally or emotionally, because pardon is a selfless act. It relieves you from the burden of the past. So Sheikh Sadi says कि गुस्से का कड़वा घूंट पी जाओ, मैंने नतीजे के लिहाज से ज्यादा शीरीन घूंट कभी नहीं पिया. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. And this is again a statement of Imam Ali. Whenever you overpower your enemy, so the best way to say thanks to Allah is forgive him or her. This is the statement from Najul Balagha. And another part of winning attitude is caring attitude. This is the famous statement of Hazrat Ali alone. You see, human relationship and on attitude, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam said hundreds of thousands or hundreds of statements, and I have taken only few statements from Hazrat Ali Kalam or from Najul Balagha. Someone asked me, who's Sharif, who is honest, who is pious? Hazrat Ali replied, who does the justice with a less fortunate or weak person? And this is what not happening in all Islamic countries and developing countries. And the famous statement of Churchill in Second World War, someone asked Churchill when he was sitting in the bunker and the Germans were pounding the hundreds of tons of bombs every night or every day in 1945. Someone asked Churchill, can Britain survive, or could Britain survive? He said, are our courts doing some justice? The person said, yes, they are doing justice. Then Churchill said, okay, because courts are doing justice, Britain will survive and flourish again. So Hazrat Ali also said the similar statement in his one of quotes in Najul Balagha, कि हुकूमत शिरक और के साथ चल सकती है, but injustice के साथ नहीं चल सकती. Government can govern with what you call kufr, but cannot run with injustice. Injustice is the key pillar to destroy and damage any civilized society. It dents and damages the society very poorly. So in the caring attitude, we do the justice, we try to do the justice. Next part is non-winning attitude. Human sensitive attitude is last statement, last part of winning attitude. Human sensitive attitude means a respect for human emotions, feelings, and level of sensitivity. And there are again many statements of Hazrat Ali, which I quoted. Mir Anis in one of his statements, Urdu Shari ka mashhoor marsiya go, Mir Anis says, "Khayale khatir hai baap chahiye hardam." I will translate into English. Khayale khatir hai baap chahiye हमदम, नीस ठेस न लग जाए आप तीनों को. इसका तर्जुमा in the English, we should be equally concerned about the feelings and emotion of our colleagues, subordinate and associate, lest they damage their own feelings. Khabgine means dil, it is heart, lest we burn or hurt their heart. So Miranis and Imam Ali gives couple of statements on sensitivity of human feelings. And so human sensitive attitude is one of the best form of winning attitude. And human sensitive people reach the needs of from the eyes of the needy people. The second category and the last part of my discussion today is non-winning attitude. The first part is negative attitude. Negative attitude is frame of mind where a person thinks negatively about every situation. People prefer Not negativity in the general. So allow me to explain one good example of negative attitude is a bad attitude or negative attitude is like a flat tire. You cannot go anywhere until you change it. So it is a main hurdle, main obstacle, main roadblock for your progress, prosperity, and for your professional and personal growth. So this is the first part of non-winning attitude is negative attitude. And negative attitude has a couple of other dimensions. First is sadist approach. I know one professor in my Islamabad University. One day he gave F to all of his students that they do not know anything. And with his sadist attitude, with his these kind of unprofessional behavior or negative behavior, ultimately we threw him out from the university and his PhD in computers from UK. But his sadist attitude or approach in life, declaring everybody unprofessional and zero or failure, compelled us to throw him from the university. Then undue criticism is another part of manifestation of a negative attitude. The negative people with negative attitudes are mostly self-centered, and they consider themselves as a Mr. or Miss Perfect. They have catching attitude, and they're always full of complaints. They always utter derogatory comments, and they themselves think people as inferior, and they give out of context negative comments to the people in public. That is another drawback of not the drawback, but the construct of their personality. Second form of negative attitude is arrogant and egoistic attitude. Einstein says that ego is one reciprocal of knowledge. More the knowledge, lesser the ego, and lesser the ego, more the knowledge. The ego is a veil between humans and God. It's a statement of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi. And ego, 3-letter words that keeps you from saying things we really need to say, like I love you, I miss you, and I keep on helping you. So you see, this is the state of mind. This is the way ego stops you from saving your life, kills and destroy your professional image. Someone is willing to help you, but you are not willing to leave the heavy burden of ego. So sometimes it's hard to open your hand, but you need to. So if you want to prosper in life, I suggest you, I advise you, this is my humble submission, is stop giving the water to the plant of ego. And you are likely to progress in your life. There's a negative correlation between ego and prosperity. More ego, less prosperity. Less ego, more prosperity. So remember this negative relationship. Now on ego and on khud satai and self-righteousness and self-praise, there's a statement of Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda. जो शख्स अपने आप को बहुत ज्यादा पसंद करता है वो दूसरों को नापसंद हो जाता है. Any person who likes himself more, he becomes unlikable from the other persons. And for the arrogance, again, a statement of Hazrat Ali, if you want to break your arrogance, you should convey your salam to the less fortunate people and to the poor or needy people. And so warning is don't feed the ego. Or there's a famous share of Hazrat Faiz Ahmad Faiz, the famous poet of Sialkot and Lahore. He says, कुर्ब के न वफा के होते हैं झगड़े सारे अना के होते हैं. कुर्ब के न वफा के होते हैं झगड़े सारे अना के होते हैं. So I can translate into English that it is not the relationship are not spoiled by some other thing, but only one thing is ego. Ego spoils. Ego is the biggest enemy of human relationship. So try to avoid ego. Rudeness is the weak man's or weak person's imitation of strength. And Hazrat Ali, another statement, बुलंदी को अल्लाह ताला ने आजी इनको सारी में रख दिया है, लोग उसको तकब्बुर में तलाश करते हैं. The prosperity and height or progress in life has been placed by Allah in humility, and people are trying to find them into the arrogance. And one of the famous hadith se mubarakah of Janab Risalat Maab Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says, अगर झुक जाने से यानी आजी इख्तियार करने से तुम्हारी इज्जत घट जाती है तो क़यामत के दिन मुझसे ले लेना. The English translation is, if you show humility and show inkasari and aizi, and that reduces your respect and makes you belittle in the day of judgment, take it from me. I am responsible to give you and pay you back and return to you in the day of judgment. This is the famous hadith Mubarak of Huzur Pak. और हजरत अली का नदर कॉल, his statement is, अगर इंसान को तकब्बुर के बारे में अल्लाह की नाराजगी और सजा का इल्म हो जाए तो बंदा सिर्फ फकीरों और गरीबों से मिले और मिट्टी पे बैठा करे. If man knows the angerness of Allah Ta'ala, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, about the angerness of Allah on the arrogance, and he comes to know how much punishment Allah is likely to give, in that case, man sits only with the fakir and less fortunate and marginalized and poor people and start sitting on the soil. Abu Tarab की statement है मट्टी पे बैठने की. And again hadith from Sahih Muslim, तुम्हारे परवरदिगार के नजदीक बदतरीन शख्स वो है जो हर वक्त फितना और फसाद का मौका ढूंढता रहे सिर्फ इसलिए कि लोगों के सामने अपनी बड़ाई और तकब्बुर को जाहिर कर सके. In the eyes of God, the worst person is that who always tries to find the excuses to create hurdles, problems, and in everyday life, so that people start giving him more respect and he can display his arrogance. This is the indirect translation of this hadith pak. हजरत अली से पूछा गया कि इंसान बुरा कब बनता है. आपने फरमाया जब अपने आप को दूसरों से अच्छा समझते हैं. Someone asked from Hazrat Ali, when insan becomes the bad person. He replied that when he starts thinking himself better than other people and superior than other people. This is again shows humbleness and humility in the human being. The ego is a self-destructive mechanism. Every time we use the ego, we get one step closer to realizing its uselessness. अगर तुमको अपने इल्म पर मगरूर है तो तुम्हारी जहालत के लिए यही काफी है. If you are arrogant on your knowledge, this is a symbol or manifestation of your jahalat or lack of knowledge. Second type of non-winning attitude, or that is judgmental attitude. You give judgment on everything you see, ghadar, kafir, non-Muslim, and unpatriotic. This is the way people normally behave in everyday life. That is judgmental attitude. That is again detrimental attitude. That is again least acceptable attitude. So message is stop judging others. And famous statement of Hazrat Ashfaq Ahmad, the scholar from Pakistan, he says, हमारे अपने गिरेबान में सांप और बिच्छू लटक रहे हैं, दूसरों की मक्खियां उड़ाने की फिक्र. Third part of non-winning attitude is catching and complaining attitude. This is very common. If you can go 24 hours without complaining, once you see amazing results, positive results, and new positive things will open up in your life. Try to stay awake at least for 24 hours without complaining, and you will see amazing results in your life. And again, the statement of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, the worst of your fault is our interest in others people's fault. This is $1 million statement. I suggest everybody to place this statement in his heart, apne zehn mein naksh kar le, and place on the wall or on your what you call DP. The worst of our fault is our interest in others people's fault. दूसरों की ऐबजोई में आप जिंदगियां तबाह करते हैं. And there's a famous quote. It's not famous, rather. It's part of 30th para of Quran Pak. वाइलुल लिकुल्ली हुमाज़ा लुमाज़ा, जिसका तर्जुमा है it is बर्बादी हर शख्स के लिए जो ताना देता है और ऐब निकालता है. The 30th para, Allah Ta'ala also condemns a person who tries to find the faults in other person. And there's a similar statement given by Hazrat Ali. Attitude of blame and excuses. This is also a non-winning attitude. Allah Ta'ala says in Quran Pak, जो लोग मुसलमान मर्दों और उसको बगैर किसी जुर्म के तोहमत लगा तकलीफ देते हैं, यकीनन बड़े बौतान और खुला गुनाह का बोझ उठाते हैं. Those people who blames the innocent person without any reason and give them some miseries and create some problem for them, they are creating great sin. This is the indirect translation of Quran Pak. And one statement or Hadith Pak of Huzur Pak, जो कोई अपने भाई को किसी बुराई पर इत्ला पाए और उसे छुपा दे, अल्लाह ताला क़यामत के दिन इसकी पर्दापोशी फरमाएगा. This is also part of winning attitude, to hide the sins of other person. And 90% of failure comes from people who have the habit of making excuses. So message है, blame less and bless more. Blame less and bless more. Blame less and bless more. And anything good is blessing. और एक हदीस है कि अच्छी और मीठी बात भी सदका है. Fifth part of KL attitude is least push attitude. I don't care. And another is saddest and hurting attitude. जो अजियत पसंद देता है, which people take pride and they take interest and they take maza and they enjoy by giving negative comments and hurting the persons and breaking the heart of the people. And the sixth one is selfish attitude. Half the harm that is done in this world is due to the people who want to feel important. Rudeness is the weak person's imitation of strength. और हजरत अली का आखिरी मैं आपको दे रहा हूं, उसके बाद हम क्यूए सेशन पे आते हैं. वी कम टू द क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन. इख्तियार, ताकत एंड दौलत ऐसी चीजें हैं जिनके मिलने से लोग बदलते नहीं, बेनकाब हो जाते हैं. दैट इज पावर and authority and money. These are the three things because of which people do not change, but they are well exposed to the everyday life and to the general masses. This is the translation of famous statement of Hazrat Ali. So try not to change when you get these things like power, authority, and money. Otherwise, you will be exposed to the general masses. So this is what I wanted to say. I just quote one of the famous incident or historical fact you might be knowing. Shaitan, when he refused to obey the order of Allah Ta'ala, so Allah Ta'ala, he was a very pious person. He worshipped Allah Ta'ala for 1,20,000 years in every seven part of sky. आसमान पे उसके different नाम थे. Somewhere Zahid, Abid, Muttaqi, and so forth. He was so close to Allah. But when he became arrogant, when he showed a negative attitude, nature has not multiplied him from zero with zero. Nature has multiplied with him to him with -1, and he become Randai Dargah. He become enemy of humanity, and he was placed in the list of negative list of the Allah Ta'ala. And there was a famous saying in Urdu कि गया शैतान मारा एक सजदे के न करने से. गया शैतान मारा एक सजदे के न करने से, जो लाखों बरस सजदे में सर मारा तो क्या मारा. And in Quran Pak there is a famous ayat in the 30th para, tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab मागना नहु मालहु वमा कसब. कि अबू लहब के दोनों हाथ टूट गए और बर्बाद हो गया. अबू लहब was the real first uncle of Holy Prophet. And he was so happy when his nephew was born that he releases a lot of his Kaniza or Gulams in appreciation and happiness of Pedaish or birth of Hazur Pak Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was so close. But when he became negative, nature has multiplied with -1. And in Quran Pak, he was by name condemned. And we were told that he has spoiled everything, and he has lost and damaged all his property, and he has lost everything he may have at that time. So this is the impact of negativity. I have given you one story of my staff who died because of negativity, which causes a lot of mental stresses, which was the main reason of his death. So try to stay in the positive tone. Try to show positive and caring behavior. Try to show can-do attitude. You will be in a list of responsible professionals in the eyes of your bosses as well. Roti halal karne ka sabse acha tareeka hai कि 100% do the job. This is the best way to justify your earning and your monthly salary. I can talk on hours on this topic, but time is finished. I'm open for the questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Messam and Mr. Motasan, for giving me this great opportunity to express my feelings on this very important topic, the winning attitude. Winning attitude is one way to present your personality more appealing, more attractive, and more positive and more acceptable with your colleague, associate, family, brothers, sisters, colleague, associate, and also to your superiors and peers. So try to show and try to absorb winning attitude in your everyday life. Thank you very much. God bless you, and Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. That was a very powerful presentation, uh, full of words of wisdom and inspiration. And I'm pretty sure for everyone who joined us, have enough for self-reflection and see how this positive attitude can play such an important role in our day-to-day life, not only in our professional life, but in our personal life, in our family life. I'm sure there are many questions, but before I uh, go and ask our participants to ask any questions, coming back to the professional life, as you know, in our professional life, in our offices, usually we are working under high pressure. There are situations where we have to meet deadlines, or there is some crisis management. So the question is, what role does attitude play during these high pressure situations to meet deadlines or to manage crisis?
You see, I personally believe this is the training of our parents, which helps us to develop a composed and a positive and patient behavior. Then it is the surroundings of my college, school, and university, which enables me to develop this again composed behavior, tolerant behavior, positive behavior. But in South Asian culture, we have been enslaved by the Europeans and then the Central Asians and then the Britishers for more than 500 or 600 years. So we developed the culture of impatience, and we do not get the justice. We do not get the. We are mostly exploited, so we become impatient, and we think that to get your legitimate rights, you show intolerance and you show uh, uh, eagerness and to shout and do not reflect composed behavior. And this is only because of social injustice prevailing in countries like South Asia, India, and Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and these kind of 4 or 5 countries, which are mostly relatively less cultured from Western perspective, because of that extreme nature of attitude. And the culture of extremism is also very much prevalent in these 4 or 5 or 6 countries which I just mentioned. Remaining countries like Buddhist countries, Japan, and Western Europe and North America gradually evolved over a period of 3 to 400 years, and they become more mature and they become more professional, and they develop their winning attitude in the early days of school. For example, in Canada and Japan, I know, I have seen myself, they spent first couple of years in developing the professional, caring, and can-do attitude amongst their early kids, how to treat and how to greet, how to smile. Smiling is part of their training in Japan, at least I have observed. So these kind of things are not common, not very prevalent in countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, because exploitation is norm here in these countries, and exploitation is being done at the state level in these 6 or 7 countries, in more rather in most developing countries. Because of that exploitation, they could not develop, because most of the part of the life people start fighting for their rights, so they become less composed, more aggressive, and aggression is norm here in these 6 or 7 countries. This is my analysis.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much for that.
This is logical byproduct of slavery they had undergone for and that and the extreme way. Any question from the house?
Yes, we do have some questions. There's one question from Aisha Gilani, and that's how to train other about positive attitude. It's sometimes no matter being positive at your own side, but others' attitude kills you. Basically, how we can improve the attitude of the entire team in a professional environment.
Okay, to me, self-centered attitude is a negative attitude, manifestation of negative attitude. In countries, in the developing countries, including South Asia, we just mentioned, uh, most part of population because of exploitation reacts countries like Pakistan and South Asia. Ratio to positive and negative people is 80 to 20. I hardly find 20% people positive, caring, loving, tolerant, helpful, and again person with good thinking. I hardly find 15 to 20% in my office life method. I'm working since last 30 years in Islamabad and Lahore. This is my observation. It may be wrong. Someone can challenge. So it is difficult to stay positive in the extreme hajum or extreme crowd of negative people. But the only way is to stay positive, stay composed, show your patience. और जो कुरान पाक में ना कि नमाज और सब्र से अल्लाह से दुआ करो, तो that is the way. Or in certain cases, I suggest you to go for a professional counseling to psychologists. They listen and they give some positive piece of advice. This is my own experience. और काउंसलर के पास जाना कोई पागलपन की अलामत नहीं. It is not a symbol of madness. It is symbol of correctness that you want further improvement in your professional life. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you have already answered the next question, which was a consistent negative attitude around yourself creates a lot of depression. So how to survive that? So as you said, so being positive yourself is the best thing. And I think trainings like this webinar would be a good thing in any environment, in office environment. Apart from technical trainings about attitudes are so important. So there should be more and more training support available for mental health, for stress relief, or how to manage situations and how to be positive in difficult situations.
I have developed a course of 2 days on attitude development and understanding the dynamics of attitude. It was only 1 hour, brief crux of that 2 days show. When I come to the London or Washington or New York, I used to come after 2 or 3 years. I will spare and volunteer 1 day for the local community to get to understand the basic logic, rationale, philosophy of attitude. Attitude is everything, anything. And 91% of my progress, your progress is dependent on my attitude. And attitude ki manifestation is possible only through behavior, and that encompass my personality, that shape, de-shape, and reshape my image, aura, and personality.
No doubt. Okay, so there's another question, and probably that would be the last one. Every person's life varies and problems also vary. So the question is how to spend a happy life without stress and tension. I think you have already touched upon this issue.
That is humanly not possible कि आप stress के बगैर जिंदा रहें. Stress is part of life. The core issue is how to handle stress. Meditation is one thing. अल्लाह से तवक्कल, अल्लाह पर तवक्कल बढ़ाना second thing है. अल्लाह से दुआ करना third thing है. Sitting in the people of positive people, sitting in the महफिल or company of positive people is another way to get release your stress. Exercise, even yoga, even long walk, swimming, ये सब चीजें they reduces your stress. और stress management पे मेरी ट्रेनिंग है. अगली दफा आप मुझे स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट को बुलाइएगा एआई के बाद. स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट पे मैंने काफी, although I'm engineer, I'm not a psychologist, but these are my core strength. मैंने human observation से learn किया, book से learn नहीं किया.
Inshallah, definitely. I think we have a lineup of sessions, inshallah, and we'll benefit from your knowledge and wisdom. So I think we have gone beyond the allocated time. So I would like to express thanks from the entire team of Arbaeen Global Networking. And thanks to everyone who participated. This session is recorded and it will be uploaded on our channels, and the links will be sent over to you. So please do share with your colleagues, with your friends, especially if you think attitude is an issue within your team, within your organization. Sessions like this would be particularly helpful. Sometimes these are just reminders. These are not some tips. These are words of wisdom, inspiration. And I think with our attitude, we can not only change ourselves, our team, our entire professional environment as well. If you would like to know more about Arbaeen Global Networking, please visit our website, which is www.arbaeenglobal.net. Please do register. You can connect with other like-minded individuals, organizations, and we do conduct monthly webinars. Inshallah, we'll be conducting next webinar about AI, then about probably stress and how to manage stress and tensions in your personal life or in your professional life. With that, I would like to thank everyone and have a good evening.